All right, just getting out of here on a Friday. Turn on my headlamp, maybe that could help. For the most part, we've got our pony walls in where we want them, and we've got this door opening framed up. You can see the problem here. We slapped a, not problem, but you know, the nature of plumb here goes from about 3/4 of an inch to nothing. So our jack studs are plumb. This king, or whatever you want to call him, that we just put to the edge of the plank that was in the wall here is obviously out of plumb there. I don't know what my problem was on my last video. These are cripple studs. Any stud, you know, you've got jacks under headers and kings that go from the sole plate to the top plate. Cripples go across window and door openings above, and well, door openings above and window openings below as well. And these will be cripples here under the edge of the pony wall. And I don't know why I kept calling them jack studs, but sometimes when you really push your intellect to the complete limit, and I've only got about 100 IQ, so this is the type of thing that happens. We need a stud here, we need a king there, cripples like I said, and because we're underneath the beam, the second story beam from the first story beam here, we've got a pair of jack studs and a pair of jack studs. Normally a doorway only really uses one, but as it grows wider, I like to get into 2 jack studs. And again, we're counting on this big header that I built here out of a solid piece of LVL that we supplemented with 3/8 plywood on both sides. Counting on that as a bearing loop from column across beam, column cross beam that's on jack posts in the basement to carry this much of the second story beam when I notch out to connect from the duct that we built to the duct that goes into the bedroom upstairs, and that'll be where I start Monday. You can see it right there behind this register box. I'm only going to take about half, certainly no more than half, and probably in an arc as well to try and save as much strength as I can in the beam. Again, we're under this side of it here, and we're under the other side of it there. And then as I get what I need, I will squeeze flat the 6-inch tube until it makes its way all the way through. And I could even sneak my way in at the lowest point into this wall and get around and up and back around in there if I have to. So for the most part, I'm not that worried about it. Hopefully it doesn't bite me. All of our electricity has been pulled out of the job boxes, work boxes, and so all of our connections can be done once the drywall covers. We pulled our old service that was here into the boxes now, so those will be all of our home runs. In fact, we didn't do any home runs here for electricity. We just using the old armored circuitry that came up and out as a home run, and just pairing, daisy chaining off for outlets and stuff like that. We took the one that was in the floor here out. And so, and the last thing, these pony walls, I wanted, which it's a best practice to go down with a stud, especially the one on the end, through the floor, and if the joists go this way, stick this king or whatever for the pony wall, this cripple, right to the side of that joist to take any of this, forward back out. That's a best practice. Our joists went this way in this house, so what you do is you block across downstairs, and you take him down and you slap him to the side of a block that jumps between 2 joists, and that takes, you put a lever arm beyond the surface of the floor downstairs to take a lot of, to give that a lot of rigidity. I went down there and looked, and not only is, the furnace, this cold air return is right here, and trying to work there would be annoying. All the new systems for the furnace and the drainage and the sensor, lines and everything are all right there, and it just would have been a pain. So I went down to a friend and had him bend me up some 3/16 L brackets, and poked them full of holes, little holes on the long leg, bigger diameter holes on the short leg. So we used those lag replacements, timber locks, different. That one got painted. This is a different style head here, but ultimately just something bigger and heavy duty that went right down through all of the flooring and into the joists that we're on right here. And then we got through with framing screws in these, little holes where we didn't have a lot of length, obviously 1.25 inches. In here, when I went through with framing screws, I used 4s, from both directions, so they go through all of this lumber, respectively. So we got up and over there, over and down there, over and up here, and so now we really have a lot of strength there, and we'll just get more even when we throw another couple studs in. Same over here. And it was maybe $300 or something to make these up, but $300 is a little more than half a day of me working, and I just didn't feel like, I put that money in my pocket if I go to all the trouble to work downstairs and run these through the floor. And in this case, I give that money to a contractor to build those, but it kept the project moving more quickly because while those were getting made, I could do other things. And it's 6 1/2 dozen to the customer, and so those are the type of things the kind of calls that I have to make all the time. But I'm happy about that. They were real easy to install, went right in place there. So next week, after we cut through and connect the duct, I may add a king here too. So we have 2 kings, 2 jacks, a nice big, because we took an inch out of the thickness of the 2x4 from 3.5 down to 2.5. So normally I'd feel all right with real 2x4s in there, but those are getting to be such tiny little sticks. I had some splitting, from nailing them up and stuff, that I had to pour wood glue in and clamp them, and actually I screwed them together, so I got to take those out of there. But so all things considered, I'm going to be able to take this lifting shores out that are supporting everything slowly, in the first couple of days next week, which is exciting, and clear this whole area out for the most part. Start being able to see what it is that we're planning on having for sight lines and stuff. But pretty cool. Feeling good. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you.